Just the opener is that we're not ready to play a football game yet, and that's apparent. But I thought good work today. I thought the story was self-imposed negatives offensively, so a lot of false starts, a lot of sloppiness that way. Defensively, it's just about finishes. Yeah, I thought we had the quarterback in the pocket a few times and let him out, and a lot of times that led to explosives or drive extenders, and some of that is getting used to playing with a live pocket. Some of that's a credit to our quarterbacks. I thought all four of those guys showed flashes today, and yet what we're going to talk about as a program is how do we become more consistent. So that's kind of the point of the spring. We're not supposed to have it all figured out yet, but I'm proud of the work we put in here 9 practices in, and I'm excited for the next 6 opportunities, and then obviously to move forward into the summer. But a lot of work ahead of us. Um, wasn't a clean day, but certainly some points of celebration. So
We'll start at the back with Charles.
Coach, I know a lot of people coming in saying with Diego gone, the offense is probably going to have to change a lot. I saw a lot of, good mobility out there today, physical quarterbacks that aren't afraid to tuck and run. What is your assessment on that department?
we've been behind a little bit offensively. I think in practice we've struggled at times, and it's not for lack of talent. It's just trying to get portal additions synced up, and again quarterbacks feeling comfortable. I think it's hard when you're in a 4-man rotation to get rhythm and chemistry, and there's that's just where we are. We're not ready to name a starter. We're not ready to move forward in that respect. So it's got to be those 4 guys working together to build the chemistry and to compete. But to this point, I feel like the defense has kind of had the upper hand in our competitive work. I thought today the offense showed what it can do. It's a great reminder of the power of a drive. Like just the number of times we're on schedule and getting to conversions and keeping the defense on the field, and how those body shots will accumulate and allow for explosive plays. And so, and we looked a year ago. At times I thought with the use of tempo, formation, RPO, quarterback run. I thought there was some really good stuff. We got our receiver skill involved. And then, on the flip side of that, I think there were times where we need to throw it and catch it, and we make the available play that we didn't do. And there were times in the red zone where we compromised ball security. One fumbled out of the end zone for a touchback, and one that was recovered by our offense ended up in a field goal. But those are situations where we have to come away with points. And so there's a lot of learning there. I was pleased with the offense today. I think it was a kind of a bounce back day for them, and hopefully they can build on that momentum through the end of camp here.
We'll go to Gentry.
Yeah, Clark, with Jared coming as a much different skill set, obviously, than the guy you had playing quarterback last year, do you adjust offensively to that? How does that work with? I think most people would look at the offense and say it was a pretty good fit for what Diego could do. What happens now with a different guy?
Well, I think one of the things that we did offensively that maybe we haven't talked about as much as we evolved with Diego. So if you look at what we did in 24, I mean, we were almost like an option team, just grinding out possession. 25, we were really a different outfit. I mean, that was about, team performance going through the quarterback position and using tempo and becoming explosive and almost at times a pass first, mentality. So every year is different. Every team's different. We believe in our run game. We believe obviously in our offensive line, but with Seti and MK back, those are 2 of the best running backs in our conference. We want to establish a run game through them. That's going to support whoever is playing quarterback. And then from there, I think it's identifying the skill sets that we do have. So it's last I checked, and I could be wrong, but I think there's one Diego Pavia alive, and we were fortunate and grateful to have him as a part of our program. And yet, the path to winning is, we've got 4 guys right now that have shown the traits and talent. I think we need more consistent play. Specifically with Jared, this is a guy who, I don't know, January, February, March is 3 months into, learning a college offense. I think his world has shifted pretty dramatically with respect to process and time spent and how that position needs to strengthen the other 10 on the field. I mean, we're at a level where he won't be able to do it on his own. And that's a beautiful thing for him and his development, but we need to be really patient with him. I think that the worst thing we could do right now is put him in a box or judge him for where he is. And the best thing we can do is just each day just look for a little bit better. Each day, get him stapled to a process, because what we do know about him is that he does have the traits to create. And I thought today you saw his pocket presence at times, his escapability at times, his physical presence as a runner, and also, the ability to put the ball in tight spaces on time and on the target. Now, they weren't always completions today, but from his process and his standpoint, there's not a whole lot else he can do. So we don't need to adjust offensively from where we were a year ago dramatically, but I think the ways that we'll adjust, no matter who the quarterback is get run game through the tailback and make that a staple. And obviously, maybe not put so much on the quarterback with respect to pre-snap and post-snap decisions. So ways that we can kind of tighten the process for those guys to where we're relying on that run game and we're relying on kind of a quarterback-friendly system to get us in the right place with our eyes seeing the right things to throw it and catch it and stay on schedule.
We'll go in the back to Kendall.
Coach, can you speak to what your strategy was with this scrimmage in terms of what you were expecting to see and what you hope the players took away from it today?
It really just playing football. I mean, I think we got over 100 snaps, and the balance is just, this is our first scrimmage. We'll have another next Saturday, then obviously spring game. So the balance is, we want to keep a healthy roster. A couple of guys banged up today, but I don't know that we have anything long term. So play football. I didn't want to get hyper situational. I wanted there to be context for where we were snapping the ball. So we started the scrimmage in the fringe, so across the 50-yard line, as a way just to create urgency on both sides of the ball. I didn't want us to wade into it. I wanted to get the immediacy of that last bit of vertical space for the offense and for the defense to have to defend every blade of grass. We then went into some open field work, which is basically just, normal football drives. We got in the second half to playing offensively as though it were the third quarter and we're behind 24. So how does that change the way we approach fourth downs? How does that change the way we approach the speed we operate in? So that was maybe a little more situational based, but staying in our base personality. And then we finished in the red zone, and I kind of cut that one short just because I thought we had enough work down there. So that was the premise. Every play is a context. I mean, they have to know the situation when they line up. First down, second down, third down, field zone. Those things are important. Hopefully, because it wasn't scripted and because it wasn't in the routine, hopefully they got a feel for the flow of the game. I will tell you that the extended drives, I think there's an awareness that, again, we're not ready to play yet. So the extended drives take a toll, both sides. So early, the late false starts, I think, are examples of a breakdown in focus because of fatigue. I think defensively, the sloppy finishes also kind of are a result of the same thing. So we got to continue to build our capacity. But on the whole, it meant to be a simple day. I thought we got that accomplished, got the ball snapped a bunch, and came out of it relatively healthy so we can go into the final 2 weeks.
We'll go Graham, then Trevor.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned in the opening statement about the defense allowing explosive plays, but on the flip side of that, how encouraging is it to see your offense making those decisions that lead to those explosives?
I mean, that's the beauty of being the head coach. I don't ever have to have a bad day, So, and especially I think to go back to what I said earlier, feeling like defensively we've been ahead of the offense here to this point. It was great. It was great to see the offense punch back today, and to see all four quarterbacks sync up with the unit. I mean, I thought that was really cool. I credit to them. I mean, we can't overstate how challenging it is to be in a quarterback competition, trying to establish consistency and chemistry. And I thought those guys really handled themselves well, and that's a credit to TK and to Coach Beck too in the work with that room. But I thought it was great, and again, it'll be great teaching for us defensively as well.
Trevor.
Ryan Longwell created a lot of havoc in the backfield today, it seems. What have you seen of his progression throughout the offseason, but also his time in the program?
Yeah, I think he's one of the best, if not the best, in our conference. I mean, that's how I feel about him. He's fast, athletic. I mean, he's gone the long, hard way as a player. I mean, 23 was his first year, and he was forced into action early, and I thought he handled himself well. But I think I remember talking to him after that season about how disappointed he was just in his finishes, and just he wants to be a great player. And so year in, year out, I think he's just been steady in his growth. One of the cool things in my job is I get to see these. I mean, Brock Taylor turned 22 years old today. Okay, so first, happy birthday to Brock. But second, I mean, how cool is that for me to see this guy from 18 to 22, You get to see growth and maturity, and Brian the same. He's become such a rock in our program. And another guy, too, that the respect I have for these guys that experienced it at its worst, that stayed in it, stayed committed, kept connected to the vision. I mean, I've got such a respect for him. So no surprise that he wreaked some havoc today. I mean, he's going to be a really important part of our defensive success this fall, and I'm glad he's on our team.
We'll go Gentry. Last question, Charles.
Yeah. Any reason you're letting the quarterbacks get hit?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple reasons. One, it's Tim and I have done this every year we've been together. Now, I can't remember the conversation with Diego a year ago, but I'm sure he was upset that he was not hit. I'm sure that was a fight at some point, but that's because these guys want to play live football. So if you ask them, that's what they want to do. Now, our job is to try to limit exposure, because you don't want them taking hits in over and over again, and all of a sudden we lose a guy. That would be obviously that is the risk. We have the ability to push and pull on that as the scrimmage goes. So if you feel like a guy is not able to operate, or if he's overexposed, we can put a gold jersey on him and pull back. But when you're repping four guys, if we got 100 snaps today and that came out equal, you're talking about 25 exposures. Sometimes I feel like you actually have a better chance of keeping a quarterback safe when you make him live, because he has the ability. That he's aware of the clock, and he is not forcing throws with pressure in his face. He is escaping. And so we are doing it because we want to evaluate these guys playing live football. That's important. We first approach them and say, hey, how do you feel? Are you comfortable with this? All those guys want to go. I think last time we went live, we held Jared out just because he's young and he's learning, and we don't want him put in a compromised position. But I mean, I think every day this week he was in Tim's office asking to go, so I respect that. I thought they handled themselves well today, and we'll do that again. I'm pretty sure we'll have a similar approach next Saturday. Probably by the time we're in the spring game, we'll dial back and it'll be focused on staying healthy. But that's the reason behind it.
We'll go last question to Charles.
I wanted to ask about the tight end room. I noticed Spence, Connor, Taylor all getting valuable reps today and making some plays. What have you seen from that room, and what are you looking to take from them this spring?
Well, Cole Spence, we know what he can be for us, and in so many ways, he's next up in that room as a featured playmaker. We need him to be really good in line as well, as a blocker. I mean, he's going to have a huge role in getting that run game going through the tailback. But he's such a steady member of our program, and so we're excited about him. Mo Vaney, would be the second that I would say. He's been limited with a hamstring, but we've been really pleased with what we've seen from him. He's like a 270-pound Y, so he's going to be able to help us in line as well. I think he can do things as a receiver threat as well. So I mean, I'm excited to see him. We have not been able to see him as much because of his injury, and that's why I think he had a few snaps today, but probably not enough to catch your attention. With JC, I mean, he's a really good athlete. He's played the position. I think just off the top of my head today, like he has a chance to be a playmaker for us on the perimeter. I think some consistency and finishes, throw it, catch it, make the available play with him. But I've been proud of how he's approached spring. I understand he's, started at Ole Miss, was at East Carolina 2 years now with us. So, I mean, there's a lot of learning, foundational learning that he has to take on as a part of this program. And I see that coming on in him. So by the time we're playing the fall, I want him to feel like he has the ability to impact winning. And then Walt Taylor, I thought, had a good day. I think both JC and Walt are learning how to play physically in that kind of offline position. And so, Walt today got on the wrong side of a defensive end at some point, but made a couple big catches for us, and I think got in the end zone once. And so Walt is all about how patient we can be in his growth and development. We love who he is as a person, and he's learning a position. But when you see him and you look at his frame, you realize, that he could be elite. Now it's just we can't. He's not there yet, and we got to just steadily build into his foundation to get him there. But that position has been such an important part of our success beyond Eli. Just the way we play offense and what we want to do in the run game. Certainly, we're looking for. Big things from that room.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, thanks for being here, guys. Good to see everyone. Gentry, the glasses, did you LASIK? Are they okay?
I had these on outside.
All right, not transition lenses, so you had to shelve them. Happy Easter to everyone, and again, thanks for being here for the day. It means a lot. Thank you.